O pure intelligence, do not disturb your mind by affirming and negating things. Silencing them, abide happily in your own self, which is an embodiment of the Bliss Absolute. Acharya ji, can you please explain what is this silencing of things? First of all, it has to be understood who is talking and to whom. If you have eyes sharp enough, you will see an apparent contradiction in Ashtavakra's words. And to resolve that contradiction, you will have to go deeper than the contradiction. Ashtavakra says, O pure intelligence. So, who is being addressed? Pure intelligence. And the next thing he says is, do not disturb your mind. Why would pure intelligence anyway disturb himself, herself, or his mind? So there is something awkward somewhere. And this has not been understood by a large number of seekers traditionally. On one hand, they call themselves as nothing but the pure Atma or pure Brahman. On the other hand, they say that we are on the journey of self-improvement and refinement. What is this dissonance? On one hand, he is saying, O pure intelligence. Not even just intelligence, not merely intelligence. O pure intelligence. And then he cautions you to not to disturb your mind. There is something somewhere that we are not easily seeing. Do not disturb your mind by affirming and negating things. The part after by is secondary. Whatever is said after this has lesser value than what has been said up to this point. So Ashtavakra is saying you are two. On one hand, you are pure intelligence, and he addresses you as pure intelligence, so probably he knows that pure intelligence is your real name. A fellow like Ashtavakra is not going to give you pseudonames, pet names, misleading names. He addresses you as pure intelligence. So he knows that your real name is pure intelligence. Pai. Neither bhai nor bai. You are pai. Right? He asks you, babe, what's your figure? Say 3.14. For I am pi. Bad joke. So pure intelligence. And then here he is warning. Do not disturb your mind. Which means that man is a strange creature. He really is pure intelligence. And what is the proof of that? Ashtavakra is addressing you as pure intelligence. So you are pure intelligence. Without that bit of faith, We can't reach anywhere, we can't even begin. So if Ashtavakra says you are pi, you are pi. Nobody will talk further. And he also says, do not disturb your mind. The one whose nature is pure intelligence is not only fully capable of, but actually insistent on disturbing her mind. This is bizarre. This is man. This is woman. You are someone who is pure intelligence, but is most of the times seen as behaving otherwise. You might be pure intelligence, but you are seen behaving in rather awkward, foolish, actually stupid ways. How do you know that a way is stupid? Look at it and you will know. How do you look? Give me a method to look. Well, looking is the only method. Sorry for the disappointment. If this has been understood, we can proceed. And then we'll come to that part of the verse about which Jyoti has raised the question. O pure intelligence, do not disturb your mind by affirming and negating things. Silencing them, abide happily in your own self, which is an embodiment of the Bliss Absolute. Acharya ji, can you please explain what is this silencing of things? Things are anyway silent, Jyoti. In pure intelligence, there is no noise. No noise at all. Some have called pure intelligence as music. Others have called it silence. What is certain is that in intelligence there is no noise. What is noise? Unwanted, chaotic, sensory perception is noise. Noise could be oral, visual, or purely mental. Noise could be oral, visual, purely mental. In pure intelligence, there is merely peace. Noise is not conducive to peace. Noise, by definition, is that which shrouds peace, tries to interrupt peace. If you're asking what is silencing of things, to silence things is to not to make choices that lead to disquiet. I often say, make a good choice. I often say, Make a choice that leads to peace. That is a good advice, but not exact. Peace need not be a choice because peace is the default state anyway. If you choose nothing, you have already chosen peace. Peace is the default state. So if you choose nothing, you have already chosen peace. You just have to be cautious of your choices. You just have to see what are you continuously choosing. Choose nothing and you have already chosen silence. It is so very imminent and pervasive and real that you don't have to go to it. It is present. When you sleep, you don't choose silence or peace. The entire night you are not working to maintain your peace, or are you? Do you do something to remain silent and peaceful when you are asleep? The silence and peace, the ordinary silence, the ordinary peace that you experience while sleeping is not a result of your labor or choice. It is rather a result of you ceding choice, surrendering choice. So when Ashtavakra says silence things, what he actually is saying is, do not side with noise. Silence has life. Silence has continuity. Silence has a certain immortality. Noise has no life of its own. It has to be kept alive. It has to be kept alive with due effort. That effort is absent when you are sleeping and therefore you are peaceful. What brings you peace and silence when you are sleeping? The fact that you become incapable of disturbing yourself. Tell me, what if you had retained consciousness and the power to choose and the power to decide and all your freedoms and liberties, even when you were sleeping? What would have happened? What would have happened? There would have been no sleep, no peace, no silence. The peace and silence that come to you when you are asleep come to you because there is a temporary cessation of the personality. Do you see how dangerous you are? The moment you cannot have peace and sleep. The moment you are yourself, you are just disturbed. Sleep relaxes you because in sleep you are nobody. There is just silence. What does it mean to silence things? Nothing, Jyoti, nothing at all. You don't have to silence things. Silence is your nature. Just stop being too much with things. Stop being too much with your beliefs and concepts. And the waves of the egoistic self that keep arising from somewhere deep in the psychosomatic system. Have you not experienced this? From some point, in your body-mind, that wave arises. And that wave has no capacity to look at itself. It's a blind wave, but a powerful one. That wave is characterized by a total incapacity to know its origin. That's why it's not love, but thought that is blind. Thought cannot look at itself. When that wave of thought or emotion arises, does it know from where it is arising? But it's powerful. It carries you away. You who are prepared to be carried away. You who must be carried away. Either by this or by that. Something will carry you away. You have to decide who it would be. That is why poet saints in India have often talked of the Jeev as the bride in waiting. Somebody is bound to take her away. The question is, who would it be? That is why saint poetesses in India would never say that they are bachelorettes or virgins. They would not say that we are pristine and pure and untouched. Rather, they would say, we are his bride. The East has known a secret. The worst is to make a wrong choice and belong to nonsense. Better than that, to stay untouched like a pristine white sari. But the highest is to be like Meera, eternally married. Meera would not say that she is single. She is eternally married. Just married. Forever. It is impossible for you to not to belong. Belong you would. Just see to whom. Over that you have some choice, some jurisdiction. And what is the best choice? To not to have a choice, because the moment you will exercise a choice, it would be a bad choice. What then is surrender? To not to exercise choice and to let the one, have choice over you. Shouldn't you ask? If we don't choose, how do we get married? If we don't choose, how do we get the right one? Isn't there a threat that we would go single all our life? After all, Acharya ji, you are telling us to not to make the wrong choice, and the right choice cannot be made. You are saying don't make the wrong choice, and the right choice you cannot make. Basically, you are saying don't take what the world serves you, and neither should you try to prepare a serving for yourself. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And that's why the real thing is so very nasty. It is in your power only to not to choose wrongly. Then how would the right thing happen? The right one will choose you. You will not choose the right one. The right one will choose you. Do you see the respective roles and responsibilities? There is a clear division of labor. The classes have been demarcated. What is your job? To not to choose wrongly. And who will do all the choosing, etc.? The one whose company gave you the faith to not to choose rightly. The one whose light gave you the eyes, the wisdom to not to choose wrongly. After all, it is not a mere coincidence that one drops his tendency to choose wrongly. How does that happen? How does that happen? That happens when you are in the vicinity of someone special. When you are in the proximity of someone special, then you suddenly get both the love and the light to discard the wrong options. Discard all that which is against silence, peace, rest. And since you are in his vicinity already, and since you are already submitting to him the proof of your love, what is the proof of your love? The very fact that you are not making bad choices is a proof of your love, a strong proof of your love. And he is in your vicinity. Isn't he watching? He is watching. What is he watching? That you are not choosing wrongly. Now come on, you have already advertised yourself enough. The ego will remain a show off, whether in the world or in spirituality. So see, she has shown off. What has she shown off? Mero to Girdhar Gopal dusro na koi. Now Girdhar Gopal is under pressure. After all, she has refused all the wrong ones. And he takes this pressure very nicely. He welcomes it. He says, fine. Now that you are strongly and honestly shutting the doors on the world, and there There. That is what is meant by silencing the affirmation, the negation, and all these things you think. Nothing happens to you just randomly. Not even the most dishonest person would say that he is merely a puppet and things happen to him. Most of us say our action was a result of some trigger, some stimulus, and our consequent reaction. So they at least agree that they had some role to play. That's what the normal worldly man would say. Yes, I reacted, but for that there was a reason. The dishonest one says no. My reaction is predestined. If a loud or violent action happened, it's all got to do with the provocation. The wise man fully well knows that deeply, ultimately, he is the one who makes a choice. And if he is not yet making a choice, the choice can be made, potentially be made. That's the fun of living, right? To not to let things happen to you. There is a sense of mastery involved in that, is there not? When you are able to honestly and humbly say, nothing happens to me. I don't react, I act. I know, I realize, and from that realization, my action sprouts. Realize that it is in your power to not to side with noise. Realize that pure intelligence is lying in abeyance. Realize that Ashtavakra does not enjoy warning you and admonishing you. A fitting tribute to Ashtavakra would be to, as a disciple, come to a point where he doesn't have to say so much to you. He looks at you and just exclaims, "Oh, pure intelligence," and the verse is complete. This long tail is unnecessary. What is the head? Oh, pure intelligence. And then there is such a long tail, which is totally unnecessary. But it is needed. Because if he just addresses you as pure intelligence, he is then not acknowledging the fact of your being. The fact of your being is that you are too prone to disturb yourself. Where there is no disturbance possible, even from there, you magically conjure some disturbance. Such is your intention. And you would not even say that just because I want to get disturbed, so I'm inventing disturbance. You will come up with some kind of a logic or reason or argument or proof. Aesop told a story. So there was this wolf and the lamb. And the lamb is drinking some water from a stream, and the wolf too is drinking water. And the wolf looks at the lamb, and he has some genuine reasons to feel offended. What does the wolf tell the lamb? You lamb, how dare you send me used water? You're sipping from the same stream as me. Which means that the water that is coming to me is water from your mouth. It is used, spoiled, dirty water. But I'm sure you're doing it on purpose. The lamb said, Great Lord, you are the one standing upstream. I am standing downstream. The water is flowing from you to me. The wolf said, Oh, smart chap. But then surely yesterday, it was your father who made me drink the spoiled water. The lamb said, Your Honor, my father was killed by nobody but Your Excellency even before I was born. So how can my father yesterday spoil your mood? The wolf was now aghast and boiling. He said, You argue too much. So much argument is untenable. And with one blow of the paw, the lamb was gone. Even the wolf needs to justify it to the lamb why the lamb is being killed. Somehow we maintain some respect for reason and logic. The fact is that the lamb had to be slaughtered, and there was no reason to prove it to the lamb that it was being justfully slaughtered. But that kind of a reverence for logic we too have internally. So even when we are going to do the most stupid of actions, we come up with some reason. Yes. Yesterday your father did something because of which today I must take vengeance. The real reason is something else. You are hungry and the lamb is tasty. It's a thing of the flesh and the body. Please see that, honestly admit that. Don't invent justifications for trouble. Trouble appears attractive. You know why trouble appears attractive to the ego? If a fire breaks out in the adjacent building, many of you would rush to that place. The ego is so much in need of fulfillment, love, that it can try any method to gain fulfillment and love. It can even burn down its own house so that it gets some attention, so that people come to it, so that the firefighters come to it. This tells us of two things. One, the ego on one hand is evil, on the other hand it is very cute. Cute because all the evil is for the sake of fulfillment. The ego is waiting for the one who can bring peace to it. But it does not know the direct way. Or let's say it's too scared to use the direct way. So it uses all the oblique methods. What is the direct method? To go to the temple. Go to the temple and meet Ram there. What is the indirect method? Degrade yourself. And become either an Ahilya or a Sursa or a Shupnakha or a Ravana. The direct method is the method of Lal Ded and Meera. I want him, I go to him. How convoluted is that? I want him, I go to him. I want him, I call him. This is the direct method. This is for the one who is simple and innocent of mind. This is the method of silence. This is the path of direct silence. I want silence, I go to silence directly. Then there is the crooked path. The crooked path is the path of the crooked mind. It is the path of the one who has forfeited his innocence. It is the path of the one who is not childlike anymore. It is the path of the one who has learned a lot of rotten tricks now. It is the path of the one who has been made a fool of by the world, by all the conditioning that the world foists upon you, and obviously the conditioning that comes with the body. You have both the options. You can either get angry over this person, or you may even sympathize with this person. That is why the saints are often in a quandary. That day you all were singing, Dar lage aur hasi aave, ajab zamana aaya re. That's how a Kabir feels when he looks at you. On one hand, you look so terrible, dar lage, you are dangerous. On the other hand, you're just a clown. You're just a kid gone wrong. You're just a kid playing Kumbhkaran in the Ram Leela. So hasi aave. You are wearing evil beyond your size. You can't even carry that evil properly. You are trying your hardest to be evil, but your problem is that you are not succeeding even in your evil designs. You failed to be good. And your tragedy is that when you are trying to act evil, you are still a failure. You can't even be properly bad. So hasi aave. But at the same time, the kid is now carrying Kumbhkaran's sword. So one better be careful. And the kid is angry. I will chop you down into so many pieces. You will pass your arithmetic paper just counting the pieces. This is from Ram Leela in Patna. What is man? A tragicomedy. What to do with you? Slap you or hug you? Even God is divided. Those who could see this, they talked of Vishisht Advaitvad. They said it is not true that the universe is purely non-dual. Look at mind. Look at man's mind. It is impossible that nothing but non-duality, Advait reigns. So they said qualified non-dualism. They said it is conditional. A little caveat has to be inserted somewhere. Don't you see? It is difficult for God to make up his mind. If you are evil, sometimes he corrects you, at other times he punishes you. And he himself does not know where to draw the line. For a long, long time, he just tries to keep correcting you. And then you say, nice, gentle chap. I keep doing a lot of nonsense, but he just keeps correcting me. Then a point comes when he has no option left. Look at Ashtavakra, same thing. Oh, pure intelligence, do not disturb yourself. What do you think? This is non-dualism? Come on. The world is God's circus. The world is God's comedy channel. You would be knowing how difficult it is to remain a witness. Watching all that he does, it would be incredibly difficult to Just be a detached, dispassionate watcher. Stuff is shooting out of the screen. The characters on the screen are flinging stuff at the watcher and testing his dispassion. Watching the TV screen and a rotten egg emerges from there. Remain the watcher if you can. The puppets have a grouse against the puppeteer. Don't be a participant in this nonsense, Jyoti. Or be if you want to. Anyway, it does not matter. Nothing matters. As long as things matter terribly much to you, do what you want. Your evil anyway would not survive your body. Once you are gone, where is your evil? So be as big an evil as you want to. Do that. Powerlessly evil we are. Where are the Stalins and the Hitlers and the Mussolinis? Where are they? Where is their evil? Show me. Evil failed. Goodness also fails. What remains? What's the point finding out? That will disturb you even more. But if you are interested in a little bit of peace for yourself, then here is a solemn request from Ashtavakra. Kindly do not give power to your so-called internal nonsense. All the saints, seers are standing in front of you with folded hands. They are touching your feet. And they all have just one request to make. Kindly do not give power to your nonsense. You are capable of doing much better, O pure intelligence. When you look at a circle, when you look at curvaceous shapes, you could either say 36, 24, 36, or you could simply say 3.14. The circle corresponds to both. Ashtavakra is asking you to not to let random foolish figures crop up in your mind. And if they do, because of latent tendencies, then don't give them energy, don't give them power. Beyond this, Jyoti, no sage, no teacher can say anything to you. The teaching stops here. Beyond this, he is powerless. He stands in front of you with folded hands. I said he is prepared to touch your feet. He can only make a request. Kindly do not drown yourself in the gutter of your internal being. Inside you is a big gutter. Do not get drowned in it. This is one of the best pieces of spiritual advice you will ever get. O pure intelligence. Inside you is a big gutter. Spirituality is to not to get drowned in it. It's a request.